Hi everyone, my name's Richard Cheung and I am a student here at Stanford University. It's actually my second year, and at the beginning of my first year, I actually started school online. So, opening ceremonies were online, new student orientation was online, first day of classes online, meeting friends online, everything was online. And so I just wanted to share with everyone what my experience of studying at university during the age of COVID, what that's like. And actually, to give you guys, just a brief overview, I was in Vancouver living with relatives when school started in September of last year, so 2020. And in January of this year, so 2021, I actually was able to come to campus and experience a somewhat limited version of what campus life is like. And so I feel like I've kind of experienced the whole spectrum of what COVID education could look like and could be. And so, yeah, that's what I'd like to share with you guys today. And so to start off, let's talk about what academics is like. Because everyone's probably wondering, how do we get to lecture? How do we have discussion sections? How do exams work? How do assessments work? Well, it's real simple. They just put everything online. What I mean by that is they make everything accessible to you. And that's something that I think that my university, Stanford, did very well, is that they actually recorded all the lectures, so that if you're in a different time zone and if it's 3 a.m. for you, you can still sign up for that class, because you can watch the recorded lecture, and so that way you're not left out because you're in a different time zone or you're in a different country. Everyone still gets to participate. And what I personally like about that format is that I'm able to watch lectures at higher speed, so I'm able to double speed my lecture, and that basically half the time I spend watching lectures, which I guess is something that a lot of us actually have learned to do over the course of the pandemic. And so lectures are online. Discussion sections, on the other hand, because most of our courses have discussion sections, those are mandatory for you to go in real time. So you can't say the discussion section will be recorded and you go watch it later. It doesn't work like that. Everybody still has to go to a discussion person in real time, and I think that's actually a good thing, because because personally I felt like watching lectures by myself was a bit it felt like I was just watching YouTube videos, and that was the education that I was receiving. But discussion sections is when you really get to interact with people, and I've actually met quite a few friends online that way. So yeah, I'm quite thankful for that. Next, let's talk about assessments. So the way assessments work is that they're a lot more free when they're put online. What I mean by that is that most assessments turn open book, because it's really hard controlling whether you cheat or not. At least for my university, Stanford, we have an honor code policy. So when we do assessments, they make us sign this thing that says, oh, I won't cheat or whatever. And it's like kind of an honor trust-based system. I know other universities are probably more strict. Many require cameras to be turned on, microphones to be turned on. Some even require multiple cameras from your phone, laptop, or iPad. But from my experience, our assessments just became a lot more free in the sense that we can do them anytime in a 72-hour window, let's say. So we'll pick maybe 1 or 2 hours out of that, and when we start the assessment, we just do it for 1 or 2 hours, and then at the end of that, we stop, and then it logs everything to the system, sends it over to our professors, and that's how we do our assessments now. Let's move on to what the social scene's like when everything's online. So I definitely found it to be more limiting. So personally, I'm a big classical music person. So I play the violin, I'm a violinist, and so I joined the Stanford Orchestra. However, that turned online. And so what that meant was that, the way that we do it is that we just record clips of us playing and then we put it all together. And so it's things like this which you really start to see that you really can't do everything online. And some experience, some clubs, some organizations really do have limits as to how much they can do online. However, one thing I really appreciated was that a lot of these clubs and societies turned more towards community building. More on a focus of getting to know each other, even if it's just, basic Zoom calls, study sessions together. There was a big focus on community and staying connected, which I think really helped in onboarding me to all these different clubs and just meeting new people and friends, many of whom I still interact with today. There's another perspective to the social scene during COVID as well, and that's being on campus but taking online classes. And personally, that's what I did. I was on campus from January to June, even though classes were still online, because Stanford allowed international students and allowed people with special circumstances to stay on campus so that their education wouldn't be hindered by things like time zones or other factors. And so I think what that built was a tight-knit community, because there was a lot less people on campus and a lot less things happening that we naturally would have to plan and do things ourselves. So we got a lot closer to the people who were on campus, and it was a very tight-knit community that, from what I've heard anyways, could not really be replicated in a normal setting, which I think is kind of ironic, because I've always thought that COVID would pull people apart. But ironically, being on campus while COVID was happening and while we still had online classes actually brought me together with some really close friends, many of whom I still hang out with every day here once campus has reopened right now. And I'd say, it's the little things that we do together, like watching lectures together, going out together, I guess, or even just hanging around campus. These things that you do together because, and you share the same experience of, being the few people who are actually on campus during COVID, really brings people together. And I think that's kind of, if there's one good thing that came out of COVID, I say it is that. It's that you do get quite a lot closer with the community immediately surrounding you. Just to recap, I think that studying in the age of COVID is definitely a very interesting experience. Though it's very tempting to think that, to think about all the things that we've missed out on because, our classes were moved online and because we weren't able to experience proper campus life. I like to think that all we've had is a different experience, and that's what makes our cohort unique.